Sweet. Cool. It looks like everything is good to go. All right, cool. That's what's up. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another edition of the Narik Chase channel. I'm your boy Narik Chase, and in this video, we're doing another episode of the Streamline Podcast. This episode is, I believe, Streamline episode 88. Glad we actually got here. Sorry for the delay. It was supposed to come out at 3 o'clock today, but ended up having to leave town. And then I had it scheduled for 6 and didn't get back till late. So I wanted to go ahead and give everybody a good show. 9 o'clock is where it's going to be at. And I'm trying to see if I can have it to where I end up having it come out at 9 o'clock. Every Sunday. So hopefully we can get that going, and that way we can have a bit more consistency when it comes to the channel. But there have been a lot of really cool things that's been in the news, a lot of interesting subjects that I wanted to talk about. So before I get this started, guys, be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and the notification button to get the best of what we got going on this channel. Also, if you do want to support the channel, there is a link in the description box below. Outside of that, let's go ahead and get into the real cool stuff. Now, for one of the things I want to talk about, topic one, I guess you could say, is one of my favorite actresses, Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She was in the Birds of Prey movie. Didn't really like the movie, but I did like her. She was in Live Free Die Hard. She's most known in Scott Pilgrim versus the World. She's been in a lot of things. 10 Cloverfield Lane, really enjoyed that movie with her in it. But they just announced that Mary Elizabeth Winstead will be joining Rosario Dawson in the Disney Plus series Star Wars Ahsoka. Now, Ahsoka and Rosario Dawson was in The Mandalorian as Ahsoka. Really enjoyed the performance. Really thought the character. I really thought she nailed the character. Ahsoka made her big debut in Star Wars, The Clone Wars. First, the movie that they had, The Clone Wars, and then she was greatly fleshed out in the Clone Wars television series. So it was great to see her having a live adaptation. I would say Rosario Dawson was a really perfect cast of the character. I'm interested to see who Elizabeth Winstead is going to be. I should say Winstead. I'm interested to see who Winstead is going to be playing in Ahsoka. She's a really good actress. And she's good with physical stuff too. Saw it in Scott Pilgrim, saw it in Birds of Prey. So it's interesting what they're going to be doing with her character. Who she's going to be playing is up in the air. I'm not really sure. I'm familiar with a lot of the Star Wars characters, but more of the mainstream characters, and not really the characters that are kind of laying in the background. This whole cinematic universe thing that they're doing with the newer movies. Well, not really the movies. More of what's going on with The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, like that little cinematic universe that they got going on with the television series. I'm not really sure about a lot of the characters because they are pulling some pretty obscure characters. Me, I wasn't a big Boba Fett fan till recently. Mando, what was the chick that is like the queen of the Mandalorians? Now, I really didn't know really much about her character. Ahsoka at first. Just a lot of the characters that they're kind of pulling right now seem to be characters that are a bit more obscure. So there's a lot of obscure characters in Star Wars, and she could potentially play any of them. So as far as her, she's a good actress. Not only can she act, she's good with a lot of roles. She's very diverse. She's good with physical roles. And I'm interested to see who she's going to be playing in the Ahsoka series. Perhaps she's going to be playing a character that was introduced in the Clone Wars. I don't know. I think it'd be pretty cool. But we'll see where that goes when the time comes for that. Now, another interesting thing that's come up in the news, and maybe I'm just a weirdo for this, but I'm all for it because I want to see something different, and I'm sick and tired of seeing the same old thing all the time. Now, DC has announced that is it next year? No, this year. They're going to be killing off the Justice League in the comics, in the mainstream story. Now, there's a lot that can be said about this. There's a lot of people that don't really like this, and somewhat understandably so, because I'm a fan of the Justice League. I like the characters and stuff, but I'm also a fan of change, of evolution. And also I'm one of those guys that I like comics, but I don't want to see these superheroes go through 50,000 battles and not one of these 50,000, not one of the mainstream heroes get killed off. I want the Game of Thrones effect in my stuff. Now, do I agree with them just kill them all off at the same time? No, I'm a big question about that. But there's a new story which I haven't really read. Writer Joshua Williamson, who's written some Batman, and artist Rafa Sandoval, who's done some artwork with the Flash. That the next big DCU event in starting in what Justice League 75. I need to really go back and read the Justice League, so to basically to get up to speed of what's going on. Williams said we've been building to the death of the Justice League for the last year across the main line, said Williamson. I remember buying Death of Superman 30 years ago, and now we have an opportunity to take that idea and go bigger with it. Justice League 75 allows us to showcase why the Justice League are comics' greatest heroes, as we show the aftermath of the loss against their biggest threat ever and its impact on the DCU. Now, what it seems to be is a new dark army made up of the DCU's greatest villains has formed on the edges of the multiverse, and the best, most powerful heroes are pulled together in an epic war to push the darkness back. In the end, the Justice League are killed by the dark army with only one survivor to warn the remaining heroes of Earth about what is coming for them. What's this? Justice League Dark, Apocalypse War. But anyways, look, I'm all for it. I don't want them just to kill the Justice League off, just kill the Justice League off. I'm a fan of the Dark Knight's Metal. I thought that was pretty good. And I like how they introduced the multiverse and these different villains from the multiverse banding together. And in my opinion, introducing one of the most epic, not only forms of Batman, but one of the best villains in the entire DC universe, the Batman Who Laughs. Really enjoy that. But I think that's a really cool idea. Now, like I said, I don't mind them killing off the Justice League, but I just don't want it to be, okay, they took a ship, flew over there, battled, they died. Like, no, I don't want that. I'm more of, okay, this is an escalating war, and as the war is progressing, more heroes die. I can deal with that better than they just went all over there, they all died, and one guy came back. I feel that's kind of anticlimactic. But I do need to go back, read the Justice League comics to what's building up here, so I can get a bit more perspective on it. Like I said, I'm not against the idea. I would just hate for it to be, okay, they all just went over there. 20 guys went over there and one came back. I don't like that. In fact, even in the Justice League Dark Apocalypse War movie, my biggest gripe was when the fight actually happens, when you actually see this battle, that's pretty much what happens. You don't actually see the team, really a cool fight. You don't really, compared to the animated series, compared to many of the other movies, you don't even get a really good fight. You just pretty much see them get their ass kicked, and then that's about it. I don't want that. I want to see an epic fight. As this war's escalating, people are starting to get picked off. Characters might sacrifice themselves to accomplish a goal. Again, the best way that they can pretty much do this is just like Justice League Dark, because as things are escalating, characters are dying. As they're trying to fight back this tide of darkness and death and destruction, more characters end up dying. Hell, in the Injustice comics, the same things happen. As this war is escalating, motherfuckers are dying. So again, I'm not opposed to the idea of the Justice League being killed off, but just the way that they're killed off matters a lot to me. Also, another interesting thing is if the Justice League is getting killed off in the mainstream, will DC be able to actually continue the DC universe with the other characters? Because you got to admit, right now, Batman is who's pushing everything right now. But you also got Superman and Wonder Woman close behind them on that. But Batman is the main. And of course, you got Hal Jordan. Of course, you got Green Arrow. Of course, you got the Flash, and like those characters right there. If those characters get killed off, because those are the main, is the supporting cast of other characters: Supergirl, Red Hood, Robin, Beast Boy, Blue Beetle, um, the other versions of the Flashes, Superboy, Batwoman, Batgirl, Static. What's the that fool's name? Black Lightning. Like all of these other characters, Aquaman. Well, I guess Aquaman probably with the main ones. Are they strong enough? Are their stories strong enough? Are their characters strong enough to continue the DCU, as well as emerging characters that they have? Are they enough to push this to sustain DC Comics? Already, DC Comics is having a lot of troubles with their comics because a lot of the whole social justice crap that they're putting in it and all that woke stuff. And a lot of these characters, they do have those traits that mess it up. Characters like Batwoman have become a continuous issue. The new Superboy, the new Superman's son was a big thing. You know what I'm saying? So all of these other characters that they're pushing for, will they be able to sustain and hold up the DC Comics? Is this move a legitimate move to tell a good story and shift the DC universe main story in a different, good, compelling direction? Because this event, these characters who have been around for 50, 60 years, is this move enough to shift? Because if they're dying, yes, their deaths is going to affect the DC. You know, is it strong enough to actually, when they die, you know what I'm saying? Is it going to be like an echo effect? Because, like I said, Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, the Holy Trinity, the Trinity, you know, if they end up dying, who's going to take their place? Now, I did honestly like the Red Hood, Bizarro, and Artemis team up. I did like that. I ain't gonna lie. I thought that was pretty cool. I like the parallels that they do have to their counterparts. I thought that was actually pretty cool. But overall, like, who is going to be the next Trinity? Who are going to be the next leaders, you know? And also another interesting thing, and like I said, I haven't read the comics, so I'm not sure exactly who, but when they say they're going to cut out the Justice League, exactly who do they mean? I have one picture here that shows a casket with the Green Arrow, one with Batman, one with Superman, one with Wonder Woman, one with, I'm assuming, John Stewart. But I'm not really sure if it's them or if that's just a cover from something else. But also the cover that you see with them on it, it shows Superman, Batman, Green Arrow, Black Widow, Hawkeye, and Hawkman, or Hawkwoman. It looks like Hawkman though. Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and is that Black Adam? Yeah, it looks like Black Adam. So it's kind of like, who is, when they say the Justice League, obviously they're talking about core members, and because they right now I'm thinking, like, why is the Flash there? You know what I mean? So are they, obviously they mean Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, but what other characters that are going to be involved in his death, and who's going to be the one that escapes? Now I'll be damned if I watch this and the person that escapes is Batman. I'll be like, oh, come on, really? And I like Batman, but he's one of those characters. I'm like, look, you a human, and all of this stuff that's going on, you can't walk away from it all the time, dude. One day you're gonna have to take the L. But I'm interested in it. I can see why a lot of people will be pissed off, but I'm interested in it. If it actually could tell a good story, I'm all for it, especially with this whole multiverse aspect that they got going on. Will this move help push for a lot of these other obscure characters that are a bit more in the background, force them to step up? You know what I'm saying? Starfire Raven, characters like that, Cyborg, again, Beast Boy. Like, will this force this younger generation, this newer characters, more obscure characters, supporting characters, to push them more into the forefront? This does have to be the potential to be a good move if it's good in the story. But if they're just doing this just to get rid of the Trinity and the more popular characters to make room for this woke crap, this is going to help shut down DC Comics. Marvel's already in the toilet with their comics too, and both of these companies are having a lot of problems because they're putting a lot of woke stuff in it. And hopefully, this doesn't kill off the ultimately the franchise. Like I said, both comic book companies have a lot of issues with woke stuff, and like I said, and if they're saying, "Hey, kill off the Justice League so we can put new characters in that ain't worth a damn, they can't support the comics," then ain't nobody want to see that garbage. So I'm on the fence about it. I'm like, okay, if it's for good, if it's telling a good story, I'm for it. If it isn't, don't do it. Don't do it at all. And honestly, if they do kill them, don't bring them back. But I will say this too, going off what I was reading about like the death of Superman. I recently, like a year ago, finally read The Death of Superman. That is one of the best damn comics I've ever read. That fight was ridiculous. But having said that, I want you in the comment section below. Let me know what your thoughts are on it. Should DC kill out the Justice League? Should they kill off certain members? Should it be one climactic battle? Who would you choose to be killed off if you had the choice? As I think this is a bold move, but we'll see where they're going. Maybe this is also a setup for something else. Maybe they're saying they're going to kill off the Justice League, but they're not really going to. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Coming in next, the Moon Knight trailer. Now, I was supposed to do this last week, but I totally messed up because of timing and everything. But I don't know much about Moon Knight. All I know is that he is something of a mixture between Batman from the DC Comics and the Punisher from Marvel. He's had different origins, but the main one is he's a superhero with multiple personalities. Whether those multiple personalities are through superhero vigilante personas or through like a real life people, like civilians and stuff. It depends on the comic and a writer, but he's basically a superhero with just multiple personalities, through different extremes and everything. But I've honestly, I'm on the fence about it. I think the trailer, for one thing, I like the dude that's playing Moon Knight. I can't think of his name, but he played Poe in the new Star Wars series. He played Apocalypse in the X-Men movies. So he's a good actor. I've seen him in other things too. He's a really good actor. For some reason, I can't really think of his name. But I don't know. For one thing, I think one of the biggest things is I don't like Disney. So a lot of this stuff that they've been pushing, especially now with this woke stuff that they've been throwing in, ever since basically Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Netflix series, really the series I haven't really gotten into. The most recent one was MODOK, and that's probably because it wasn't on Disney Plus. I refuse to support Disney Plus, but this series, the trailer looks kind of cool. I think it does a good job of setting up this kind of like psychological horror thriller. It looks really cool. It looks like there's going to be a lot of mystery to it. This man's going to be tripping out. It looks like this man it looks like he's in a multiverse of madness. So that'd be interesting. There's definitely a lot more to his character, especially given the mysterious backstory. There's one sequence in the trailer where he answers the phone. This woman says, you know, what's up with you? And she calls him by a different name. So you can definitely tell something in his past. There's a bit of action that pops up. So it looks like he's going to have these skills where he knows how to kill and stuff, but he doesn't know how he got those skills. And it just looks like it's going to be interesting. There's a weird scene where this creature is like lumbering towards him. Now, for those who don't know, Moon Knight is the avatar of this Egyptian god. I can't remember the name of it. Who resurrected him when he had died at one point in the story. And I do know that in one incarnation, he uses gadgets and stuff like Batman, but there's another incarnation of him. He does have supernatural powers, which I'm interested to see which one they're gonna go with in this. Um, Ethan Hawke's in the show. I don't know really much of Moon Knight. I don't know any of Moon Knight's like rogues gallery. So I don't know if he's going to be an enemy or somebody's going to try to help him out. It looks like he might be a potential enemy. But let's just get on to the suit. The suit looks all right. It looks all right. I think it looks decent. I'm not like tripping on it or anything like that. I think it looks kind of cool. Looks kind of weird. Honestly, it does kind of look cosplay-ish, but I will just see the final product when it comes out if I decide to watch it. So I'm not watching it through Disney Plus. I hate to say that, but I'm not. But I'm interested to see it to some extent, and to some extent, like I don't know who Moon Knight is. I don't care about Moon Knight. He is not a very interesting character. Well, he is a pretty interesting character. Just at the time, I didn't think he was an interesting character. The trailer, I can say, looks pretty cool. It looks like it's going to be interesting, but I don't know if we're going to watch it or not. To the next thing. Now, this is a trailer that I was really, really hyped to see, and is probably because I'm such a huge fan of the series. Finally saw the Halo trailer. Now, they dropped the teaser trailer a while back, introduced a lot of characters, got a shot of the Master Chief, but this trailer definitely drops a whole lot of gems. So let's go ahead and get into it. Now, this Halo series is going to be a different timeline, so they're taking the idea and they're coming up with their own thing. This is basically the Resident Evil movies compared to the Resident Evil games, the main timeline that they have, which I'm all for if you can tell a good story, if you introduce compelling characters in it. For one thing, Master Chief. Master Chief, I think the armor and stuff. He looks pretty cool. He does look cosplayish just a little bit. I'm sorry, but I think the suit looks pretty cool, and even the voice synthesizer sounds like not exactly like the guy from the games. And I know I've read some comments where people are like, "Man, it has to be the guy from the game." Like, no, as long as the man has a deep voice and it sounds somewhat mechanical due to his helmet, I'm fine with it. What I've seen in the trailer, I actually liked. I thought it looked pretty cool. I thought he moved like Chief. I thought he sounded good enough to be the Master Chief character. I like the sound of him. I like the look, the action sequences that you do see in it. So the Master Chief character, actually, two thumbs up. Now they did show Katana, and she did throw me off for a bit because of her design. But I'm not against that because you got to think of it like this. Cortana was looked one way in the first game. Cortana changed in the second game. Cortana changed in the third game. And her character has consistently changed in every version of the game. So I basically see it as like that. I think she sounds like her. I think she looks like her. I'm fine with that. There's a lot of different characters. I think Catherine Halsey is the person in the Halo games that actually basically created the Spartans, and she's in there. She looks pretty cool. I want to see more about what she's got going on her character, how much, and she's gonna be interesting because I'm gonna see how much influence she has in UNSC as well as her relationship with John 117. Well, I want to say 111 for some reason. Then I said John 11. For some reason, the 7 didn't seem fit right, but I was like, no, it's John 117. So I'm interested to see if they're going to have a relationship as well. I'm actually interested to see if Halsey's going to have a relationship with Cortana, and it's another thing that's got me and pretty much in the games, Master Chief and UNSC, he's never really there in this war. I mean, of course, in the backdrop and the build-up of the Halo games and everything, but when you actually play the games, Master Chief a lot of times is by himself. We're isolated with other people, but not directly in contact with the main force of the UNSC. So I want to see how they're going to balance that out. Is he going to be on his lonesome doing this stuff for most of the time, or he's going to be with a team? Is he going to be mostly in contact with the support of the UNSC? They actually showed the Covenant. The Covenant don't look bad. I think some of the animation, I was like, it could have been a little bit better, but for the most part, I actually like they showed The elites were pretty badass looking. Pretty little scuffle you see between the two elites, and the Master Chief. That was pretty cool. Um, there's some pretty good actors that I've seen in it. I think that looks pretty cool. A lot of it seems like there's going to be the same mystique that the original game's storyline and timeline introduced. So I hope they throw a decent twist on it. The action looks pretty good. There is this little girl that's in there in the series, and this makes me again go back to makes me kind of think like is Master Chief by his lonesome? If he's on his lonesome, and because he rescues a girl apparently, and it's like, okay, is the Master Chief watching out, taking care of this girl while he's on a mission or something like that? She's with him. Is Does he rescue her and then he kind of bonds with her? And I'm interested to see where they're going to go with it. There's other Spartans. Is the Master Chief bonding with those Spartans? There is a scene where I can't remember the actor's name, Boko something. Uh, I can't remember the guy's name, but he played the Shocker in Spider-Man: Homecoming. He was in Poetic Justice. He was in the Total Recall. I can't remember the guy's name. I always mess his name up. He's a good actor though. He was in the Blade series. But there's a scene where he was talking to. It seemed like the Master Chief about their past. So I'm interested to see where they're going to go with on that. Are they going to explore a bit more? And also, the biggest mystery that I want to talk about in terms of this is, are they going to show his face? I don't want them to. I want him to be just as elusive with his physique as they can be, like they do in the games. Like in the games, you don't see what he looks like. I mean, in one of the games, I think they do show it, but you have to beat it like on Legendary. And I could just probably Google it or something, but I'm not going to. Or they show his eyes. They would show something of his face, but I'm not going to because I don't want to spoil it. I like Master Chief because he is this mysterious character. But one of the things that the trailer threw out there that is going to that's pulling at me, that's compelling me to watch this show outside of the fact that I am a huge Halo fan is apparently in this universe, this timeline, the Covenant have human operators as well. There's a sequence where this one woman is walking through, I guess, a deck or office or some important room with people in it. And she kind of is wearing that thing that those aliens were wearing on Revenge of the Sith. You know, the aliens that told Obi-Wan that General Grievous' army was on that one planet. She's kind of got that outfit on. And it looked like she summoned tentacles or something, or tentacles or whips or something, and it was binding all of the peoples. That's got me very, very, very curious. So the Covenant are working with some humans now. Now I've read some of the books, and the Covenant, for as much as they hate humans, they will work alongside humans. Inevitability is probably to betray them, most likely, but they won't shy away from working with humans to achieve a goal. So in this girl seems to be a very important character, and I'm interested to see how important and how up she is, how high she is in the Covenant ranks. Me, from what I've seen, I think she's actually up there with the prophets. Maybe she isn't a prophet herself, but she's in league with directly with the prophets on what's going on. We all know that the Halo tech and the Forerunner technology takes human hands to activate. So maybe she's going to be a part. Maybe that is her role in with the Covenant, helping to manipulate the Forerunner stuff. Or maybe there's something new, something fresh that they're going to come up with. So the Halo trailer I thought was really good. I thought it was amazing. I was in for it. It had action. It had some really good scenes. It had intrigue and mystery. So I like the character designs. I'm pretty much there for it. So in the comment section below, let me know what is the best thing that you guys saw in that Halo trailer. Now, moving on to the next topic, Respawn Entertainment. For those who don't know, Respawn Entertainment has done great games such as Apex Legends and Titanfall. Neither one of these games I've actually played. Well, I played a little bit of Apex Legends. Yeah, it was actually decent. It was actually decent. No different from most shooters that I played, but it's actually decent. So, all right. Respawn is making 3 new Star Wars games for EA. And I'm going to say it's also been confirmed that Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order 2 is one of them. So they're developing that. Now, Fallen Order, I played it. I haven't beat it. I thought it was really fun. Hated the platforming sequences I did. I'm sorry. I hate platforming at this point. If it ain't a 2D platformer, I don't want to play it. But it was actually a good game, good story, good gameplay mechanics, good graphics. And I want to see what direction they're going to go with the sequel. But I actually really need to go back and beat that first one. But anyways, so they are making 3 more Star Wars games. There's the Fallen Order 2, which is going to be the action adventure game. Sweet. There's going to be a first-person shooter, which, okay, I can get behind that. And then, which makes me kind of wonder, is this going to be like a Clone Wars type game if it's a first-person shooter? Is it going to be like a Mandalorian type game, first-person shooter? Is it going to be like that's stuff like that? That's going to be interesting. It's going to be like a mercenary type. It's going to be a soldier. I'm interested about the first-person shooter aspect of it. And also, there's going to be a strategy game based on the Star Wars. Is it going to be like XCOM type strategy, or is it going to be kind of like Halo Wars, real-time strategy type game, similar to like Ages of Empires? There's a lot of really good games out there, and I know, like right now, one of my favorite games. Hold on, here you go. Game director Stig, and I got this from Polygon. Game director Stig Amusin, who previously oversaw development of God of War 3, still ain't played God of War, really, except God of War 4. God of War 4 is awesome. For Sony and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, Respawn is working on the next game in Respawn Star Wars Jedi series. EA confirmed. An all-new Untitled first-person shooter game based on the Star Wars is being overseen by game director Peter Hirschman, whose credits include the original Star Wars Battlefront game. Yes, those games are freaking awesome. And Star Wars The Force. Ooh, I'll put you there. Star Wars The Force Unleashed. Love The Force Unleashed. It's a bit too narrow. It's a bit too straight. There's literally no open area to having the wiggle room, especially when given perhaps like choices in the game to help go down different branching paths or being able to choose where you get to go and stuff. But Force Unleashed is actually pretty fun, especially the second one. You duel with them 2 sabers and you got all of that power, and they got those moments when you jump off stuff and you falling and all that. One of the best in the series. But going back to this, Hirschman and Respawn have just begun work on the title EA said in news release. Yeah, okay. The third game is a strategy title being co-developed by Studio Bit Reactor, a studio recently formed by former XCOM developers. Games industry veteran Greg Forsch, I'm killing these names, art director of XCOM 2 and XCOM Enemy Unknown, is leading that studio. So cool. Okay. Okay. See, I'm all for Star Wars games because they're so diverse. They are very diverse. You could have a game where you're doing pod racing. You could have a game where you're in the war as a clone. You could have games where you're a Jedi or a Sith. You could have games where it's like Republic Commandos. You could have space battle, like games with just straight up battles. Like Star Wars is probably one of the most diverse just franchises in terms of video games. And I think an XCOM version of it would be really cool, especially if it's something that's just more of like the many battles, whether it's the Republic versus the separatists, the rebels against the the Empire, the Order. What is it called? Order? What do they call it? Order? Yeah, the Order versus, I guess, the second wave of Rebels. I don't know. All I know is I'm happy, I'm interested, and I can't wait to get a bit more detail into what they got going on. There's a lot of great Star Wars games out there, and I'm definitely for, especially in Battlefront. Battlefront is one of the hardest games they got going out there. And then I started playing Knights of the Old Republic. That game goes hard, and I can't wait for that remake to come out. As long as they don't got that woke SJW stuff in it, because I know the writer that they got in there is one of those woke chicks. So hopefully she don't try to butcher it being dumb, a big dummy. But I'm glad to see that they're doing a lot. They're doing a lot. And oh, hold on a second. And oh, snaps! And Star Wars Hunters, a free-to-play multiplayer arena game for Zynga, recently acquired by Take-Two Interactive, is coming to Android, iOS, and Nintendo Switch sometime this year. And bam, I got me a Switch. So guess what? I might actually download that bad boy. Yeah, they got more games. Not them, but there's a whole bunch of Star Wars games that are coming out. Hold on. Okay. So yeah, there's one from Massive. They've got one from Massive Entertainment that's coming out. They've got one called Star Wars Eclipse. Of course, the Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars Hunters, and I think there's another one that's, man, Star Wars, man, they get it in, man. They got like 10, they got like, what's that? It looked like it's like 10 games coming out. But anyways, I'm happy to see what they're doing with that. I'm very happy to see what they got going on with that. In the comment section below, guys, let me know. Tell me which one of these you think is the best idea to go with it. They should have an XCOM game, a first-person shooter game, or the sequel to Fallen Order. I know a lot of people might say Fallen Order, but I'm particularly interested in the XCOM type one. Well, I'm interested in the first-person shooter. I like first-person shooters. But next subject. Okay, I'm on the fence about this one. I'm so on the fence about this one. There is going to officially being a sequel developed for Mortal Kombat 2021. And I know I said it was one of the worst movies of the year, and it was. It wasn't like the worst thing I've ever seen, but in terms of scope, story, characters, action, writing, lore, it's bad. It's bad. It's got some decent things going for it. I'm not gonna lie. Some casting choices were pretty cool, but at the same time, I was disappointed with the movie. And they're officially running with the sequel. And I guess, okay, I'm not one of those guys who's like, okay, if the first movie sucked, kill it. Don't make another one. No, I'm one of those guys. If the first movie sucked, fix the second one. Use the second one to fix the mistakes of the first one. And hopefully that they're going to go into it. Now, the person that's writing the script, ironically enough, is the guy who I believe wrote Moon Knight, Jeremy Slater. So he's got a Marvel character that he's going to be working on, and he's got this video game franchise movie that he's going to be working on. Now, there are some things, and this is some things that I want them to work on when it comes to the sequel. Look, they officially have brought this new character in. He's so irrelevant, I don't even remember his damn name. Give his character. Here goes some things. I'm going to go down this. These are some things that can make this movie good, better than the first movie. For one, those tattoos. If I guess since y'all have already written them on there, I guess just keep them. It's not what we traditionally are working with when it comes to Mortal Kombat. Okay, but fine. Okay, the main guy from the first movie, give him more stuff to do. Write his character better. He's already been introduced. I don't want them to rip him away and everything. I just want his character to be more interesting. Basically, have more depth. be more interesting, have more depth and everything. Just be a better character. Somebody get us, I don't know, write a better character, because it felt like this man took. They felt like the writers took Johnny Cage, Liu Kang, and put them together, but made them kind of shitty. So just do a better character, make his character better. Everybody wants Johnny Cage. Okay, fine, bring Johnny Cage in as well. My thing also is the fights. That's my primary thing. A lot of most of the fights in that movie sucked. The only really good fights basically were Sub-Zero versus Scorpion. Every one of their clashes were the best. Everybody else clashes were decent, were building up, but never truly gaining momentum. Like one of the fights that I thought were pretty cool was Cabal versus Liu Kang. Wasn't long enough. If they gave me like a good 3-4 minute segment of them just going back and forth, I would have been happy with that. But it was doing that thing where it was so much stuff going on and so many characters fighting, they had to keep switching. So it kept killing off any momentum really any of the fights had. So the Cabal versus Liu Kang fight was busting. I think the next fight was the Cole. Cole's the new guy that nobody likes. I think the next one was Cole versus Molina. And again, that fight, it couldn't get in really into momentum. And then, look, you got to realize this. Games in real life share very different approaches when it comes to powers. What you can hit somebody with, a power you can hit somebody with in the game, in real life, they will die. And when you do the little X-ray things on Mortal Kombat, they don't die unless, you got their health bar and stuff out the way. But in real life, if you did those X-ray things, they die. I like that they took that stuff into consideration of putting the powers into the movie, but I felt like they take away from the fights. So dial it back a little bit with the powers. Some of them are cool. It's a balance, because like I've always wondered, like with Sub-Zero or something, if he's fighting somebody, if he freezes them, shouldn't they technically die? Well, in that movie, Jax loses his arm because Sub-Zero just grabs his arms and freezes him. So, but it's like, okay, well, I can see in the game that being a pretty cool move, but in real life, if that happened, that's what happened. He loses his arm. So it's a bit of a balance. But do better with the storytelling. Like, I'm not opposed to them having the tournament and stuff. I'm not opposed to the first movie story of, okay, before the tournament, we kill off all the potential competitors. I think that's actually a good idea. It's actually pretty smart. Now, the second movie, of course, you got the tournament. They're gonna have to come with it when it comes to the character development. I do like a lot of the people that they did cast. The dude that they got to play Liu Kang, I liked. The dude that they got to play Kung Lao, I liked him. The dude that was Jax was decent. The girl that was Sonya, she was okay. The dude that was Radiant was fucking atrocious. The guy that they had play Shang Tsung, I've seen that guy play a villain in Marco Polo. He was one of the best characters, actually, because he was so manipulative, but he could actually fight. I was a bit pissed off that in this movie he didn't really have a moment to fight. So hopefully they can give him a bit more to do. Molina, I like. She was fine. She was fine. She didn't have she had the mouth thing, but it was kind of tame. And when I mean tame, it's not like you saw like her teeth jet, not like Baraka's or anything like that. But when she did, you see little scars, but her mouth would just like that. But I'm not gonna lie, they did show one scene that backside. And I was like, ugh, I never really looked at Molina like that, but that backside on point. So hopefully when and I know they're going to try to introduce more characters, but I want them to do a better job of actually fleshing out Outworld, fleshing out the villains. I like that they did give the villains some screen time, but unfortunately they just did a shitty job of actually fleshing out really most of the cast. Cole, again, is not an interesting character, but now that he's been established in there, do a better job of establishing him as a credible character, a likable character, a deep character that'll help out a lot. Also, I know that, like I said, I know they're going to introduce more characters. Like I said, all of the powers and stuff, hold back on that. Hold back on that because that just kills off a lot of the fighting. I want to see fighting. Now, if they fight and they use a power here and use a power there, and they summon a weapon here and they summon a weapon there, fine. If they happen to use the ability as a finish move, okay, fine, I can deal with that. But outside of that, don't be just sitting there just everybody just shooting powers out willy-nilly. This ain't, Godzilla versus Kong, where, Godzilla's sitting here just blasting and blasting and blasting and blasting and blasting and blasting without any, repercussions. It's like, no. They use their abilities, let it be. If you use it one time, you got to wait to recharge or something. Or you can change the volume on how much it hurts a person. Like you shoot a ray at somebody at, I don't know, level 1. It's enough to knock them back. But if you hit them with a level 3, it'll go through them. So interesting things like that. And also, like I said, and even in the first movie, some of the characters that died are going to come back. I want to see another Molina. I was so pissed off at Natara. The bat chick, that right there was just a waste. That was just something. Whoever thought that was a good idea was just a dummy. That's what I mean. Like that right there was not a fight. That was so freaking stupid. I don't want no more of those moments in this movie. I don't. I want to see straight up fighting. Go look at John Wick. Go look at The Red Redemption. Go look at Atomic Blonde. Hell, go look at Captain America Civil War. Not Civil War. You got Civil War, Captain America, The Winter Soldier. Go look at the warehouse fight from Batman v Superman. Fuck. Go back and watch the first 2 Mortal Kombats. Give me some fights. But if this is the actual thing, be on point with it. Be on point with it. Don't take all this. Don't do the nostalgia thing. Hey, we're just doing this for the fans. No, don't do that. Don't do that. That fucks up a lot of good stuff. Go with good characters, better fights, better story. If this is a tournament, it should be relatively easy to introduce characters. Since you've already introduced some of them, fix the whole tattoo thing where people develop these powers and stuff. Fix that shit. Because honestly, how the hell does Jax grow mechanical arms? Come on. And I'm pissed off y'all killed Kano. Or no, he might not even be dead. They might actually retcon him to come to be alive. Bring that character back. He was one of the best in that movie. One of the freaking best. But I'm on the fence about it. I hope that this one can fix a lot of the problems that the first movie has. Because, like I said, I like Mortal Kombat, and I've been wanting to see a good movie. I know everybody says the first movie is a classic. No, the first movie is atrocious. The fights, most of the fights freaking suck. Like it's only 2 fights in the movie that are actually pretty good. The story really isn't that deep. I mean, it's a fighting game, and honestly, it shouldn't really have a deep story. But look at the Mortal Kombat 9 game. Look at Mortal Kombat 10. Look at Mortal Kombat 11. They managed to have compelling stories with a whole lot of fighting in it. So, moving on. But before we do, guys, in the comment section below, let me know, do you think we should have a sequel to the first Mortal Kombat 2021 that came out last year? And if so, let me know down there what are some things y'all want them to change up to make a better movie. Having said that, all right, let's get on to the next story that I had piled up. Oh, okay. Right now, Jason Momoa is supposed to be starring in the next, or at least in the talks to star in the Fast and the Furious 10. I'm on the fence about that. I like Jason Momoa, and I like seeing him play as a villain because the role, I believe, is a villainous role. I want to see characters like I want to see him do more villainous roles. There's one movie that he played this werewolf that was actually pretty cool. What was the one thing? Bullet to the head. The only thing good about that fucking movie was Jason Momoa because he was a complete asshole in the movie. I guess if you wanted to, you could say Khal Drogo from Game of Thrones was a bit of a villain. So I like Jason Momoa. But this ain't a slight against him. This is kind of an issue that I've had with the whole Fast and the Furious series, where it's one of those where it's like it feels like Sharknado at this point. Who's going to be the guest appearance? In the last movie, it was John Cena. In the movie before that, it was Charlize Theron. In the movie before that, I believe it was Digimon Hansu. And Jason Statham. And in the movie before that, it was Luke Evans and what's the wrestler shit? I don't know. It feels like that at this point. It feels like that at this point. One thing I'm already pissed off. Fast and the Furious should have been cut off probably at movie 5. I actually liked 8. I ain't gonna lie. I actually did like 8. But I've heard a lot of bad things about the newest one. I haven't seen it yet. I'm interested to see how stupid it is. But Jason Momoa, if they do make part 10, I think he'll be a good villain. I think he'll be very interesting, charismatic, and kind of like a physically imposing villain too. Outside of possibly Hobbs. And Hobbs, I don't, and The Rock said he ain't even going to be in no more Fast and the Furious movies. So we'll see how that goes. But I think like if there's like a fight between Vin Diesel and Jason Momoa is kind of like a powerhouse character. But then again, like I said, you got John Cena from the last one. And I don't know how that fight went, but you know how brutal the fight was between Dominic and Hobbs. So it's interesting. I'm happy to see Jason Momoa go out there just doing his thing. I don't like the Fast and Furious at this point. It is a bit of popcorn entertainment, although most movies are just stupid at this point. But if he is going to be the villain, I'm like, okay, cool. I ain't got nothing to say nothing against that. And speaking of The Rock, which is going to be our final topic that we're going to talk about. The Rock is supposed to be in a new movie. It's going to be a video game movie. And apparently it's a video game movie he's loved and enjoyed over the years and played for numerous hours. Now, this is my thing about The Rock. If he's going to be in this movie, I do not want him to be the good guy. I don't. The Rock has a serious problem of playing himself at this point. Almost every movie he plays himself. It doesn't matter if he's a tough guy, if he's a likable guy. If he's a likable guy, he comes off as a tough guy when it comes to it. So it's kind of hard for me to watch him because he typically plays the same roles. But I want to see him play a villainous role. And but I have a theory. I did see somebody do a picture and they made him look like God of War. And I'm like, no, I don't want to see him be God of War. No. This is the game I think. I'm hoping it's GTA. GTA is perhaps one of the top 5 games that deserves a movie. We've had Sonic, Resident Evil, Need for Speed, Blood Rain, a lot of them shitty, so it's kind of hard to what was it? Command and Conquer, Super Mario, Street Fighters, Mortal Kombat. We've had all of these games that probably shouldn't have had a movie, at least not in the way that they were made. But I hope GTA is the one that he's making. If The Rock is in a GTA game, I would be behind it. That's the only game. I mean, it might be other games that he do or whatever. And if it's a good movie or whatever, if it's a good video game movie, I'm like, okay, fine. But the one that I'm hoping, I'm praying, The Rock, do me this solid. Please be GTA. Please be some GTA game. That would make me so freaking happy. I'm just saying, like, I'm at the point now, I'm like, why the hell nobody's done a GTA game? I mean, he was in Fast and the Furious. You got John Wick. You got Takers. All of these types of like citywide crazy stuff that could be that's going on type stuff. SWAT. How come we don't have a GTA game, video game movie? That's what I'm hoping he's doing. That's the one. That's the one I'm hoping. I'm hoping he's doing it. I'm hoping he's doing it. I am hoping that he's doing it. But those are just my opinions, guys. In the comment section below, let me know what are your thoughts about the various subjects we talked about: the Halo TV series trailer, the Moon Knight trailer, DC killing out the Justice League, Mary Elizabeth Winstead being in the Ahsoka series, Respawn making 3 games, the first-person shooter, Fallen Order 2, the strategy game, Jason Momoa being in the Fast and the Furious 10. And please tell me what type of video game movie you want The Rock to play in. I'm saying GTA, damn it. Be sure to hit that like, share, subscribe, and that notification button to get the best of what we got going on. And remember, guys, every weekend, Saturday, Sunday, I put up videos. Yes, the last couple of Saturdays have been my music videos, but that's a video. So watch it, enjoy it, and definitely catch you guys later.